going on, everyone? It's Bales and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Trade Talk video. It is Wednesday ahead of round 19. Can't believe it's already round 19. We've only got 6 rounds to go, including this week coming up. So we're getting to the pointy end of the season. Hopefully you guys got all your rookies off your field and you can make sort of some luxury sort of moves and start doing them now. But let's go through the most traded in-out players as we always do on the Trade Talk video. So the most traded in player this week is actually Luke Davies-Uniacke. So normally we see a rookie topping this, but obviously this week a lot of people like a bit of LDU, and especially with people got most rookies off your field, you're not going to see as many rookies being traded in. But LDU is the top one there. I like him as an option. He's got obviously 2 great games coming up. He's got St Kilda this week. He's got the Eagles next week. Like he's going to probably go pretty well in those 2 games. So I like him as an option. I liked him at the start of the year. I don't know why I didn't end up starting with him, but obviously dodged a bit of a bullet there. But back-to-back scores over 120. He's got a good run. He ticks pretty much all the boxes. There's not really anything he doesn't tick. His value, like even Melbourne, Essendon, Richmond, Gold Coast for a run to finish the year is pretty good. So I do like him, especially for 800k, under 800k. And if you've still got a Tom Green, you can make a bit of money going down him, nearly 100k. You can get rid of Darcy Cameron. In my case, like I've got a Lockie Ash that I want to get rid of, so someone like him. There's a lot of those guys. Ben Hobbs, another one. So I think he's just a good option to bring in. Jack Paris is probably the pick of the rookies this week. 57 on debut, 223k. He's not going to score much, but obviously he's for your bench anyway, just to make a bit of cash as a downgrade there. So he'd be my pick this week if you can't get up to like a Cooper Harvey, who's just here as well. I would rather Cooper Harvey here, 2.4k going for him instead, and then you've got just over 6,000. So obviously it's the price difference. Harvey's up at 263 compared to Paris, who's what was it, 223. So yeah, but 40k difference. I prefer Harvey, but if you can't afford it and you need that extra 40k, I'm pretty happy setting for Paris there. Toot Miller's here now. 3,000 coaches jumping on him. Geez, this is the decision I'm going to make. I'll go through my trade data, but the decision I'm currently sort of trying to think of what I'm going to do is, do I go LDU or do I go Toot Miller? They're the 2 that I'm really looking at. I'm still undecided. I started the week at Toot, then I went back to LDU, then Toot, LDU. I'm split. So let me know in the comments below who you guys actually prefer, because it is very interesting. It's probably the big debate for a lot of coaches this week, because a lot of coaches are looking at that sort of bit of a value midfielder, and I think these 2 are great options. And yeah, I'm still undecided. One of those 2 will be coming in for me this week though. I'd love both, but I don't think I can get both. Max Gawn, good option, 2,500 coach. If you've got a Briggs or a Darcy Cameron, I think the move to a Max Gawn is a good move. If Grundy doesn't come in, which I don't think he will, I think Gawn's going to be playing in that side solo for a little bit, and it wouldn't surprise me if Grundy ends up leaving Melbourne at the end of the year. But yeah, I like that move. The move I'm still not sure about is a Marshall or English down to him. I'd still prefer those 2. I know Gawn played well, but then again, have we really seen Max Gawn sort of a solo ruck like this for the last couple of years? No, we haven't, because he obviously had Luke Jackson, whereas he's the main guy in there now without Grundy. So, and it's like 200k. So you could do it. I probably couldn't do it personally, but it is an option for coaches to consider, especially if they don't have any money on their bench. So Jack Steele is also here, 2,500 coach jumping on him. I think out of him, LDU and Toot Miller, I think Jack Steele would top my list. I'd prefer him. Obviously, I've already got him, so that in my own team, I don't need to look at the 3. It's just Toot and LDU. But if you had the decision of all 3, I would be going Jack Steele. I don't know, we've seen him go 120 before. He's looked good the last 4 weeks. Obviously, he had that, what was it, that 80-7 against the Eagles. That was a bit of a nearly game there. That could have been a bigger score. The last 2 weeks he's looked good. The week before that 146 is very, very nice as well. So for me, Jack Steele is the pick. He's got a very good run as well coming up. North and Hawthorn his next 2. Carlton, Richmond, Geelong and Brisbane. So yeah, I'd be going Jack Steele out of the 3 there. Cooper Harvey mentioned before. He'd be my pick of the rookies if you can afford him. If you can't, Paris is a good option as well. Marcus Bontempelli, again, if you can pay up for him, then go ahead. He's only gone 1 score under 110. I believe it's round 11. No, round 8. Since round 8, he's gone once under 110, which is ridiculous. And it was a 108. So the last time he went under 108 was round 7 with a 90. He's been so good. Yeah, if you can afford him, 1.04 million, definitely look at bringing him in. Sam Flanders now, obviously he's got the role at the moment. He's looked good. I don't think I could trust it long term. Again, if you're cash strapped and you need a play, get a rookie off field, and the best you can get to is Flanders at 621, I don't mind the idea. But he's run Brisbane and GOS the next two. I'd still prefer to get a guy that you can trust more. But again, if going Hobbs down to him and you've got no cash and you can go someone up the other end, then that could be a play. If you're going like a Tom Green to a Parish, for example, and all you can get is like a Windhager to Flanders, you could do that because he's going to make a bit of cash. But I'm not sold. Let's put it that way. Stephen Cornelio, actually, sorry, I should say the role I'm sold on. I'm just not sold on the consistent sort of ceiling moving forward. Like, can he average 95 from here? I don't know. But yeah, but interesting. Stephen Cornelio, good option as well. 1.6k jumped on him again. He showed last week what his scoring could be like. I'd like him to do a few more of these 120 games on the way home, which I think he'll do. He obviously had what was it? It was on 71 points second half. So yeah, I like Cogs. Gold Coast this week. Pretty good matchup there. So Cogs I like. George Hewitt, again, a bit similar to a Flanders. Probably a bit more trust in Hewitt. Just he's a lot cheaper at 452. But the fact that he's done it before as well. What was it last year as a in our defences? So obviously with a few sub games, the injury that early in the year as well. But he's not going to be a huge scorer. I don't see him being like that guy he was last year. I don't see many of the 120s and stuff coming. But hey, he could be a good sort of option maybe on your bench as like a 23rd primo in a way, and you could be able to loop him on. But and again, if that's the best you can get to on field, if you've got 2 or 3 rookies on field still and you can get to a Hewitt, then I don't mind the move. Josh Fay as well, a popular downgrade after looking pretty good coming on a sub against the Crows and break even a 10. I think he could hold his spot in the 22 actually. Looked pretty good coming on, so it wouldn't surprise me if he did. So again, if he does, he's obviously basement. So if you don't have him, then you're going to get obviously a fair bit of cash and the maximum cash from downgrading him. Soldo, I wouldn't personally now. He went well last week, which is great. If you jumped on him last week, then fantastic. Went up 49k for you. I don't know. I just feel it'd be a bit dangerous jumping on him now. You could do a play where he's like your 23rd per round, a bit like Hewitt, make a bit of cash on your bench, maybe loop him and see what he does. But I think the boat was last week with all the carnage, and if that was the best you can get to, like a Sheldrick to him, for me, was what I was looking at last week, but Windhager obviously came through. So I don't think I'll be doing it now, but again, he's going to make cash. So Doc, I like him as well. If you can get him, West Coast matchup, great this week. And yeah, it's funny that Sicily's not on this list. Funny enough, he's got Richmond this week. Only 486 coaches have brought him in. So for those coaches that jumped on last week, like myself, hopefully he can put up a good score this week and be a good unique for us to help us rise up the rankings. Most traded out players we'll get to now. So Tom Green obviously ruled out for at least another couple of weeks. 8,500 jumping off him, which obviously he's got to go. Sheldrick, I think he's pretty much been essentially ruled out for the year. So if you've still got him, yep, he can go. And a lot of these trades are going to be from coaches that had them last week but couldn't get rid of them. So yeah, Sheldrick can go. George Wardlaw, hamstring injury, he can go. He's on a lot of people's benches, so obviously cashing him in, getting a bit of cash there. If he's on your field, obviously, then you try and upgrade him. Matt Johnson, bit similar. He can go. He got, what was it, 68 last week, got 41 the week before. 547. Again, you can cash him in. He can go. Ben Hobbs can go as well. It's funny that if you look at the correlation from when Darcy Parish came back, that's when Hobbs' scores sort of fell off a bit, 73, 70 and 63. His game time's a bit lower as well since Parish has been in the 60% mark. So yeah, he can go for me. He's bleeding a bit of cash now, breaking 106, so it's a good time to jump off. Zach Butters, so I think from what I read today that yesterday I should say, he is good to go apparently. So he had scans and he'll be available. So I expect him to play. Obviously if he doesn't play then he would be a trade, but I expect him to be playing against Collingwood. So I wouldn't be trading him. If you're in a luxurious position where you don't have any bullets, you don't have any issues in your team, and like let's say your worst players like a Will Day, for example, and you're in a good spot, getting rid of a Zach Butters might be a bit of a play, sort of just in case an in-game injury happens, if it maybe flares up during the game. Obviously, Collingwood's not an easy matchup, so maybe you just get on that for a bit of point of difference. I don't mind that play, But again, if you've got other issues, I think keeping him's fine. But it could be. That's just an option for coaches to consider there. Seamus Mitchell, 1,500 coaches jumping off him. I think it's probably just because he's on people's benches, he's worth so much. But yeah, 100% he can go. Even if he's on your field, going him up, it's not going to cost you much to get to, even like an LDU, less than 200k there. If he's on your bench as well, you can make yourself nearly 400k going him down to Faye. Especially if Seamus Mitchell's on your defender bench, defence. On your bench in defence, that's what I was trying to say. You make yourself nearly 400k. So, yeah, he can go as well. Campbell Chesser, again, he's probably a bit the same. He can probably go. He's edging towards, 362. He doesn't have to go. He's probably good cover. He's going to play. You're not going to make a huge amount. But again, if he's your most expensive rookie on your bench and going him down to a Faye or someone like that, I like the move because you're obviously cashing in a rook, so he can go. Kieran Briggs, obviously popular trade will be him to Gawn this week. I like that move. Briggs can go. He's been very, very solid, hasn't he? So he got an 86 on the weekend. He got the 95 the week before, 59. So the only game he really struggled was that Melbourne game. He's been very good since, but I think that he's not going to be a top 2 ruck, and I think Gawn can push top 2 ruck numbers. We've seen that before for multiple years, so going a Briggs to him is a good move. And actually, so 734. I just want to have a look at what the difference in price. So 734. It costs you 45k. It's nothing. So yeah, 100%. I do like that move. Again, if you want to go up to an English or a Marshall, I like that as well. But you're probably with the value of English at this point, and maybe just a bit of a pod. I would do that. Darcy Wilmot again can go. He's worth a fair bit of coin. Is he over 500? Yeah, 560. Yeah, sorry, 560. Of course he is because he had those good scores in a row. So he can go. You're going to make a fair bit of cash off him. He's been a very good cash cow this year. Ben Keys. Now, I'd be a little bit hesitant to trade him after one sort of poorish score there. He had the midfield role. Crows actually had a bit of a more tighter midfield mix there. They only had Laird, Dawson, Keys and Sloan in the midfield. And then I think Pad had like one CBA. So I'd probably keep him. But again, as I said, we're a bit with Butters. If you've got no issues, if he's your worst player in food, you can go him to, if you didn't have a Cogs or something like that, I like the move. But I don't know if I'd just be trading him out for anyone. It'd have to be one of the top guys, I think. Because I think he can still push that 95 average for the rest of the year. And we've seen him go 105 for stretches. So I think he'll be good for the run home. Will Ashcroft can go as well. It's a good week to sort of trade him out. Again, he's probably going to be one of the issues on people's fields. He got an 80 odd last week, 82, but again, 728, good price, 50k, 51k, I should say, you get yourself an LDU. I would definitely do that, be doing that trade. So, yep, he can go. And then Darcy Cameron, we just got to see if he comes back in this week. I think he will, so I think he'll be fine. Again, bit similar to your Butters and even your Ben Keys and guys like that. If he's one of your bigger issues on the field, he can go. I think he went pretty well against Port actually early in the year. I think he had that 60-point or 50-odd point quarter. Yeah, round 2 went pretty well against him. What's that? 18 disposals, 5 marks, 5 tails, 29 hit-outs and 109. Is that his equal highest for the year? Yeah, equal highest score for the year. So I don't hate the idea of keeping him. He's got pretty nice couple of games here. Port and actually Lycett's been more restrictive, but the Carlton matchup's pretty good against De Koning. So he could go well in the next couple. So, again, don't have to trade him. But again, as I said, one of your big issues, he can go. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the most traded in and out players. So in terms of top 5 targets, it gets so hard at this time of the year. Because this is probably where you've got to split some of these guys. I think at number 1, I'll have Jack Steele. I like Jack Steele. The fact he's got North this week, he's got a good couple of games. I prefer him over the 3 over him, LDU and Took. So Jack Steele would be my number 1 target this week if you haven't got him. Number 2 it's tough because 2 and 3 is going to be LDU and Took Miller. I just honestly don't know how to split them. Because on one hand, Took's done it before. He's done a 120 plus season. LDU's done it back-to-back weeks. He's got probably the more not secure role, but he's probably got almost the better role as the number 1 guy in North Melbourne's midfield. Again, does that mean he cops attention from a Hunter Clark or a Marcus Winhager this week? That's a bit of a concern. I'm just going to say LDU just for the price, because the price might help some coach out there with the 50k. So I'll say LDU number 2 and then Took number 3. But it could be number 2, LDU number 3. It honestly could be either, and I don't know which one I'm bringing in this week. Number 4, I'm probably going to go Sam Doherty against West Coast. He's not that highly owned still. Actually, I think he's still brought in by a fair few of the top, but there's still a few people that don't have a Doherty. West Coast this week, Collingwood give up points defenders. St Kilda's a great matchup. Melbourne's pretty good as well, and then Gold Coast GOS. So I like the run. We know what Doherty can do. He's just obviously an amazing fantasy player for us and just a great player in general. So I would go Doherty as my number 4. And I think it's so hard to say Sicily number 5 because of what he did last week. I'm going to put Sicily number 5 because I just like the Richmond matchup. He's got St Kilda next week. You don't want to be waiting till next week to get him because what if you get injuries to players that aren't expensive and then you can't get a Sicily next week? So if you've got Doherty, I like Sicily. He'd be in my 5, I think. I really do like him as an option still. I also, if you've got Briggs, I like Gawn as an option. I like Bont if you don't have Bont. Obviously Dawson, Dacos. Most people got Taranto. Most people got Goulden. But all these top 8 guys, they're all great options. If you can part for the top, then you get them. But in terms of the 5, I think that, Jack Steele, LDU, Toot Miller, Sam Doherty and James Sicily are the 5 that I would go for. Because there's going to be one of those 5 that you guys don't own. So they would be the 5 I recommend. I don't mind as well if you have to go a Hewitt or a Flanders. I'm not sold on it, but yeah. You could get as a 23rd Premier like a Hewitt, but yeah. So they're the top 5 targets. In terms of what my trades are looking like this week, it's just going to be a Darcy Cameron and Lockie Ash out at the moment. It'll just be a, what is off the top of my head, is a Darcy Cameron to Harry Sheezel. Actually, I don't know if I could bump Sheezel into the top 5 and maybe knock a Sicily out because of the value of Sheezel. But hey, actually, no, I'll keep Sicily there because Sheezel technically is still a rookie first-year player, so I can't sort of recommend going him over bona fide premium James Sicily. But if you need the cash, $755k for Sheezel, I do like him. So I'm actually going Darcy Cameron to Harry Sheezel this week. Only cost me $30k because then it allows me to go a Lockie Ash, put Will Day back into my defence, and bring in one of LDU or Toot Miller. It's chopped and changed. It'll be 1 to 2. Maybe keep an eye on my social media for when I make that decision. But I honestly don't know who I'm going to go. As I said, I'm interested to see what you guys think between those 2 there. Part of me is leaning for Toot, as I said, because that proven history. But then the other part of me is going, well, LDU could be the guy for a little bit more value. It gives me 50k extra for next week. So it'll be one of those 2. But yeah, they're my trades for this week. That is it for Trade Talk. Let me know in the comments below what your trades are looking like ahead of round 19. If you've got any trade questions, put them in the comments below. I will try my best to get to them this week. Apologies for people that asked questions last week. I didn't get to them. It was just a busy week with the Traders live shows and just catching up with people still in Perth. So this week, no live show. I'll be able to get to them at least by Thursday night. So make sure you put them in the comments below and I'll answer those trade questions. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you do leave a like. It is always very helpful. If we can get over 50 likes on Trade Talk, that'd be very much appreciated. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Bottom right hand corner, we're on 1,224 subscribers. We're 56. Gone maths is bad. We're 76 away from 1,300 subscribers. So make sure you get involved. Bottom right hand corner, turn notifications on so you miss when I go live or upload any other content, and also follow my social media links in the description below so then you keep up to date when I'm uploading content. We're back Friday for the pre-lockout chat. Obviously me and Tim, as always, from the AFL Fantasy Fanatics, will be going live previewing round 19 and chatting all the issues. We'll probably be talking about LDU v Toot Miller and then v Jack Steele for those non-Jack Steele owners. But yeah, make sure you tune into that over on YouTube or on Twitter, whichever you prefer. And yeah, and then we're back for the Sunday pod. Obviously, no watch longs still while I'm in Perth, but the watch longs should be back next week because actually no, hang on, it won't be because the showdown's next week. So they won't be back for another couple of weeks, but they'll be back soon. So make sure you're keeping up to my socials when I'll be doing those. But appreciate you guys as always tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. So I'm out. Cheers.